Now, not many authors can boast of publishing 29 books, selling 88 million copies worldwide and having 10 publications converted for the big screen. But Barbara Taylor Bradford, the writer of fiction titles, including, of course, A Woman of Substance, can lay claim to that title. Well, now she's publishing her 30th title, called Cavendon Women, and she's here. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, Julia.
Those figures make quite extraordinary reading.
Well, they do, and as a matter of fact, when I got the book the other day and looked at it, of course I thought it looked beautiful, and then I looked at all those titles. I didn't remember when I wrote them. I thought, 30 books. I never thought I'd do that. When I was 10, I wrote a short story, and my mother sent it to a magazine, and it was published, and I actually got paid. A postal order for 10 shillings and sixpence came with the letter, but it was the byline, you know, that when I saw it in the magazine. So I've been paid as a writer since I was 10.
And that first payment gave you the appetite for more?
No, the byline.
The byline.
My destiny was sealed.
This particular book takes us back to 1926,
yes,
doesn't it?
To 1929.
And a stately home. Yes,
which people love, because they love the home and the aristocrats and the upstairs and the downstairs. But in my new one, the Cavendon Women, I also have upstairs, the middle, and downstairs. In other words, there's another family who have worked for the aristocrats for generations. And they are sort of, it's really about those two families and downstairs.
One or two critics have made comparisons to Downton Abbey. Are you comfortable with that comparison?
It really doesn't bother me, because I've been writing what we call family sagas in stately homes since A Woman of Substance, which became a series of 7, and the Ravenscar dynasty, which is particularly in my mind today, because it's 100 years of one family called the de Ravenels, but I based it on the Wars of the Roses and set it in 1900 with a fight over a family dynasty and a great conglomerate, not the throne of England. And I don't believe for one moment that Richard III killed his nephews, because he loved Edward IV far too much.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
That's
in
another series
the context of events in Leicester just now.
Yes, it is.
You talked about that first byline and how that sent you forward. Do you still have the same appetite for writing now as you've done over the last decades? What still drives you?
Because I love doing it, and I've always worked, and I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have it. I really don't. I think if you asked an actress the same question, that you'd get the same answer. The day I start a new book is an adventure. I know the story, because I've thought it out, as much as this, beginning, middle, end. And it's wonderful to go into my office at home and start and wonder what's going to happen to all these people that are occupying that room with me.
So you've got a broad plan, but you don't necessarily know what's going to happen to each individual at that point.
At that moment, well, I always divide my books into parts, so I pretty much work out part 1. And I must know the end, and I want to know the underlying theme. And this book is about people, young women, who know they must save Cavendon. There's a threat on it in many ways, and they band together, and it's 3 aristocrats and the girl who becomes the famous fashion designer. And the house is not ruined, but no. That's enough of plot.
I was going to say, yes, we don't want to spoil it. Your mention of young women leads me to ask you about young girls and the writing competition in this country that I know you're involved with. Why have you got involved in that, and how important is it in your mind to encourage young girls, in this case, to be writing more?
Well, to write more means that you can read. And there are a lot of people that can't read in this country, and in America too. And I believe if you can't read, it's a death sentence and you have no life. You can't even read a label on a bottle of pills. So HarperCollins, my publisher, and myself teamed up with the Sunday Times and with the idea of encouraging young women to write from 11 to 18. They can enter, and they have to have everything in by July, to write 1,000 words about friendship. They asked me to pick a subject, and I chose that because most young women and young girls do have friends.
I was struck by something here, that you regularly go to schools, I know, to talk
Yes,
to girls
I do.
who might write, but they lack the confidence to do it. What's behind that, do you think?
Well, they lack the confidence to do it, and I think they need reassurance. Maybe I've always said the fear of failure has stopped more people doing many things. And I think it's fear of failure, not knowing how to begin. With a competition, I can give them tips how to do it, and it makes them stand up for themselves, in a sense. It gives them confidence. And we've already, it was launched yesterday, and we've already had people wanting to join, you know, young women wanting to do the competition.
But the attitudes are interesting, aren't they? Because the National Literacy Trust, I know, spoke to a lot of girls who may or may not decide to go down this road. Only 1 in 4 girls aged 14 to 16 see writing as cool.
That's right.
And almost half prefer watching the television to reading.
Of course.
Was it ever thus, or has something shifted in recent times, do you think?
I think something shifted in the change in family life. Many single mothers don't have time to do what my mother did, which was read to me and teach me to read. A single mother today, my mother was married, of course, and my father was there, so she had time, and it was many years ago. But actually, there's no one there to do it, because the mother has to work, or the father has to work if it's a single father. And it's too many other distractions, because there's the iPad and the computer and televisions. Many things come in between a girl and a book. But I'm involved with National Literacy Trust, and they were delighted that we came up with the idea of the competition. I hope it works.
Well, let's hope you find a worthy winner. Thank you very much indeed
for
coming in, because we're going to talk about Richard III now, given that you raised it yourself earlier on. But thank you very much,
Thank you.
Barbara Taylor Bradford. So, the life of the last